Todd, are we riding to Copper Harbor for the views or because it has 3 pasty shops up there?
Yes.
We'll call it scenic snacking.
All right.
The bottom line, Todd,
Our goal
is you
at Best
can't miss
Motorcycle
when you
Roads
combine
is
a
to make
Shipwreck
your next
museum,
motorcycle trip
Pasties,
the
and
best
an
it can
old
be.
Stormy Kromer hat factory tour, man. You just have to love the Uper.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, this is kind of the, we've talked about the Pasty Tour before.
Mm-hmm.
That's a website that's out there. And we're going to combine that with a motorcycle trip. And so I think what we'll do is we'll head over and start it at Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah, perfect.
You know, and it's funny because I don't think we've ever been to the Bridgeview Park. So we've always taken all of our pictures at a little bitty dead end street.
Mm-hmm.
And, but actually there's official bridge park.
Oh.
Bridgeview Park.
Yeah.
Just on the east side of the bridge. And, well, good news is there's also a pasty and cookie shop there. So,
So that's
I
the
think
start.
that's where we're going to start. So
Perfect.
We'll go from the north. We'll come across the Mackinac Bridge and then go to the maybe we'll get a pasty, take it to the park,
We have to.
and view. So that'll be the first pasty.
I would say we're probably not allowed to pass any pasty shops without stopping and picking one up.
I think you might want to be careful of that.
All right. Well, maybe at each stop we have here designated.
So the second stop, which is kind of a cool waterfall place, is Tukwamana Falls. Tukwamana Falls.
Easy for you to say.
Right? So there's actually 2, an upper and a lower falls there. So this is kind of north of the bridge. You kind of go north, and then they actually have the Tukwamana Falls Brewery and Pub, which is a stop on the Pasty.
Perfect.
So that'll be kind of neat to stop there. I don't know that we've ever driven down this road because you have to kind of go halfway up to Paradise, which is kind of in the big bay where you can actually see across the bay to Canada. So I don't think we've actually been that way. So that'll be kind of an interesting area. Now, if you were to go north of there, which is what Turk and Mike and I did one year, to Deer Park area, it's a really cool place and one of the neatest scenes of the south side of Lake Superior that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all gravel and even sandy gravel roads. So that was the year that we took that trail thinking we were going to be off-road adventures, and all 3 decided we don't want to do that anymore after we got up there. But boy, it was neat. A little dicey at times because it is like gravel sand is what I'd call it. So we had a good time going, but it was a little white knuckle most of the time there.
Yeah.
So I am not the ADV adventure rider type. I found that out when we got up there. So, but yeah, it is a cool place if you're into that kind of riding. I'm just not good enough of a rider to do that yet.
Probably the Goldwing isn't best suited
Well,
for
it
that
wasn't the
time.
Goldwing that time.
Well, I'm saying this
yeah,
time.
oh, heavens no. No. So that would take us over. After we do that, we want to head to Munising. And this is something we've never done in all the time we've up there, and I think this could be a really great thing, is there's a glass bottom shipwreck tour 2-hour boat ride.
Oh, wow.
So they've got a glass bottom boat, and then they take you around, and you can see the shipwrecks. So that looks pretty cool. And then, of course, while in Munising, we'll go to Muldoon's Pasties and Gifts. Right off Michigan 28 as you're rolling in there. And apparently you smell this place before you see it. So that's how you know it's good. They have some of the flaky golden crust types. So they sell beef and rutabaga, chicken, veggie, and dessert.
A dessert pasty.
So,
All right.
so that might be good. So after we get done at Munising, that's when you kind of head over to Marquette. This is going to, you better be ready for the day because this stop will be a 3 Patsy shakedown. There's 3 really good pasty shops in Marquette, and that is Gene K's Pasties and Subs,
Okay.
Laurie's Pasty Shop, and then just a little bit outside of that in Nugani is Irontown Pasties. So we're talking, we're gonna know, what's the King Pasty Shop up in that area.
Yeah.
So after we go to Marquette, then we head up to, and I didn't know this, that the Keweenaw Peninsula is actually what Copper Harbor's on.
Oh.
Like, we've always called it Copper Harbor.
Yeah.
But it's the Keweenaw Peninsula. So I thought that was something we learned.
Mm-hmm.
And have you rode up there before?
I was in Copper Harbor
Okay.
once, yeah.
Great roads, great views up
Yeah.
there. And then, you get through there, and that's kind of where Houghton is, where Roy's Pasties and Bakery. And then it's Lorinum, which is Tony's Country Kitchen. And then finally, in Calumet, there's also Pasty Central.
All right.
I've never stopped at any one of those three places to get a pasty, which now really drives me crazy. But one of the greatest things about Copper Harbor is, and that's basically the tip of that is Copper Harbor. And then there's a couple neat drives up there. Brockway Mountain Drive is a stretch of that where you're kind of overlooking some beautiful mountain scenes as well as some of the lake. And then one of my favorite things about that is the start of U.S. Highway 41. So it actually starts in Michigan, passes through 8 states, and that's 1,990 miles to Miami.
Oh, I see.
So you can go all the way from Copper Harbor to Miami.
Wow.
So I think that's a ride that Turk and I should do sometime. In a couple, maybe in a 2-day run.
Yeah, make it one day.
That'd be a little, no, let's not push it. But I don't know, that would be something. I've never done all the research on what that was built, but what an interesting route that might be.
Yeah.
So when you go all the way up to Copper Harbor and you keep going and you kind of go to where the road ends, that's where US 41 starts.
Okay.
And so there's a sign there and everything, and it just kind of talks about it. And it's just a neat thing, but.
And that goes all the way to Miami.
Yeah, and I'm sure, you wouldn't want to ride the actual road all the way to Miami, because I'm sure when you get through some of those states, you'd be riding the old road, would be riding right downtown to many of these places. But, yeah, it's always something that I thought would be a neat thing to do. It's just sometimes it's like to drive all the way up there and then to drive all the way in Miami, and then you got to get back somehow. So, yeah, that might be something to do one of these days. One of these days. So from Copper Harbor, then we're going to come down, kind of stay on the Superior side. And then if you get in the Porcupine Mountains, there's a great place to stop. Unfortunately, there's no pasty shops nearby, but it's called Lake of the Clouds. So you go up into these mountains, and then there's a lake at the top. And it's just amazing. You climb up some steps and go there, and it's just, I tell you, it's one of the neatest views, and we've never ever been there, of course, in the fall, but the pictures that I've seen from there in the fall are just amazing, because it's like this big lake and then all these leaves all around from these trees that are up there. It's quite amazing. I know we were talking about there's the big ski jump in Ironwood.
Yeah, the ski flying jump.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, you can see it from here, and that's probably 30 miles away. So if the day is clear, that's really something to see.
Yeah.
So that would kind of maybe be, I think, from the bridge to here is really it's kind of like the first, what they call the first, or the one, what is it, the Pasty Tour.
Pasty Trail, right?
Trail north map.
Okay.
This is not the south map. The south map kind of follows Highway 2 across the bottom side of the UP.
Okay.
So this would be using the north side.
Yeah.
So, so that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
The next stop would be somewhere which is one of Turk's favorite spots in the whole wide world.
And why's that?
Well, Turk's, because he's Turk, right? So it's the Stormy Kromer factory.
Oh, the hat.
The hats.
Okay.
So it's the old, the traditional ones, I think, and they make some other ones now, but are old wool hats. And I believe that the Stormy Kromer is one of the first people to make one of the first baseball hats. So it's quite an interesting place. I've never been there. I know Turk's been there and bought some things, but they actually offer tours, and those are
That sounds like fun.
Monday through Friday, I think, and then maybe on Saturday too.
Okay.
Right? Yep. So we're gonna have to go there, and probably a couple of us. I'm sure I'll buy a hat of some sort. And if you need to, I think there's limited numbers of like tour tickets. So based on when you're going, I think you can get reservations right on the website.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, we have our dates picked out, so we could probably go ahead and do that right away.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Because the only thing we'll have to figure out, I guess it's open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So we'd have to kind of estimate when we're going to be there and maybe a couple of those things. But yeah, I don't know if Turk's taken the tour or not, but it does sound like a fun place. And then, of course, after you've got a hat and you're looking like a Youper, then you can hit Rigatoni's Bakery.
Not Tony's, Rigoni's.
Sorry, Rigoni's. Yeah. I threw an extra T in there. I was getting too many Stormy Kromers in my...
Rigatoni.
Hey! And maybe they have a Rigatoni pasty. I don't know. But these are supposed to be some excellent some pasties. So, and we've been through Ironwood before, but we've definitely never stopped at Stormy Kromer's. So then I want to talk about a bonus spot because it doesn't really match up to the map so well. But if you would go straight north off of Mackinac Bridge till you can't go any further, that's called Whitefish Point.
Okay.
And then they actually have a shipwreck museum.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Mike and Turk and I went up there one year. If you go up to Paradise, Michigan, which is there's a cool little hotel we stayed at, and they had fire pits in the back. And yeah, at night when you're sitting there at the fire pits and you look across the bay, that's Canada, and it's just kind of a neat thing to look at. But so basically, this is a historic site. It's a national museum, and located at Whitefish Point, and they call it the graveyard of the Great Lakes. So in that area, it's 200 shipwrecks.
Wow.
And so the most famous one, of course, being the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Yep. So the bell of the Edmund Fitzgerald is in this museum.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So it's quite an amazing. It is quite amazing. So you have, they have the tours that they put the headsets on, and you can go through the whole thing, and they talk about it, and then they ring the bell, and so this is the November storms in this area are wicked, and that's kind of what happened to the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
they went out, and then I think they overloaded the ship. At times, they allowed them to put more cargo in the ship, and apparently they put in like 33,000 tons more cargo. Wow! And it dropped the level of the ship 4 feet deeper, which some say is the reason why it ended up in the accident. So
I see I see a playlist coming in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then also in that same area, they do actually have a museum and lighthouse that you can go through. And there's just all kinds of really maritime history and information there. And then you can actually kind of walk out to the beach there as well. They kind of got like a, I don't know what you call that
like a jetty or?
Like a wooden dock area that you can kind of walk out on.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a really neat, kind of like a pier. Yeah. It's quite the place, and it's pretty remote once you get up there. I mean, there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of towns. And that's the end of the road actually. So the road ends at the Shipwreck Museum. So yeah. So I don't know. I'm getting more excited about this trip as we go. At first, we were kind of just talking about the Stormy Kromer tour. Now it's like the Pasties Stormy Kromer tour. Now I'm starting to get a little more interested. So.
Well, and I've over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been using SurveyMonkey a lot for various things at work and for some of the things that I host. And so I'm thinking I'm going to make an app for us. Okay. And we're going to make this into a pasty contest, and we're going to call it the Youper Bowl 1.
All right.
Battle of the Crust. And we at the end we'll crown the UP Yours, UP Yours, I should say.
UP Yours.
UP Yours, Pasty Grand Champion. And
I like it.
And we're going to put some categories in there, overall flavor, crust texture, flavor, filling flavor, the filling to crust ratio, the temperature, presentation, value for your money. Would you go back? And we're just going to rate each one that we have along the way.
Okay.
So we're going to have to split them up and everybody take a bite of the same ones so that, see what I'm saying? We'll buy 3 or 4 different ones and then cut them up a little bit so everybody has a taste of each one.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the prize should be.
A Stormy Kromer cap, of course.
Ooh, that's a good idea. So how about this too? And anybody that ends up going to the UP this summer, and they comment, then we can put all those in a.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, we'll send someone a Stormy Kromer hat.
Stormy Kromer hat.
Yeah,
I love it. All right.
So
So there's you have an assignment.
Let's see. What should we say? Labor Day. By Labor Day 2025.
Yep.
Anybody that's given a rating for a pasty.
Yep.
In the comments of this episode, which will be episode 68.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a Stormy Kromer hat.
Right. We're just going to do a drawing for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So that'll be good. I'm excited now more than ever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about the pasties too.
Yeah.
But I was trying to figure out, I was going to get a cash prize to people on the trip if they ate, because I don't think it's probably going to be realistic, because I think we're talking about 10 pasties maybe. Oof. I don't think you can do that.
Probably not.
Anymore. I mean, I could try, but.
Nah.
So we'll have to, figure it out.
Trying to lose weight.
We're going to have to figure this out. It's going to be interesting. So somebody will win, and then somebody will win a hat. So that'll be good.
That sounds good.
I like it. This is a section we call the Toolkit. We share motorcycle gear review, and other riding tips. All right, so for the toolkit, then immediately the first thing I thought of that we have to have is Tums.
Yes. Good
when
one.
you get to that 8th pasty, it might taste good, but it can turn on you quick, Todd. So make sure if you're going to do the Pasty Trail that you hit a good Tums. But, you know, another thing I was thinking about is the Zumo, so like an on-bike motorcycle-specific GPS, because as we know in the Uber, it can you lose. I mean, we barely never have it. Cell phones,
you'll never have cell phone signal.
Yeah, so at a minimum, like we've talked about before, download the maps on your phone if you're using that, and then at a second, have it as some sort of a GPS.
Yeah.
And even old GPSs work okay. I mean, I've used some old ones before in my time.
Yeah.
And they're cheap. You can get a cheap motorcycle one on eBay or something.
Yeah.
Or, and then the new Zumo XTs and XT2s are really nice, of course.
And old roads are still on the old ones, even if you don't have the most up-to-date
it'll
map.
Get you there,
of course.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times you can update just you can get to a city. I mean, and that's what we used to do when we were riding a lot more when it was raining and early season stuff, is just in case you'd have that as your backup plan. Use Google Maps for everything else. But.
And the other thing I like about those is the motorcycle specific Garmin's and Zumo, or not Zumos. What was I thinking of? The Garmin's.
It's
anyway.
a Zumo,
yeah. Is that they're glove friendly? So
I
if,
knew
if
you were going to say that.
It's cold, or rain. They
you
work in the
have
rain.
Tips in your gloves, man. What are you talking about?
No, you're
right.
They're perfect. They worked all the time.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it's just easy to use.
Yeah.
And when you're not using it as your primary GPS, I also like the metrics that they have.
Right.
Like elevation, speed, all these, and the
time of trip.
Time of trip. Yeah. Direction. It's I don't know. I enjoy them. I like to have that backup plan. So, and then lastly, anytime you're in the UP, rain suit. And we like the Nelson Rigs. Small, compact to store, but yet it has that hood, so you don't have rain running down your butt crack, which is never really a good thing. Never a good feeling. And then pair that with a neck gaiter, especially, if you get lucky enough not to have it rain when you're in UP. The neck gaiter really is nice because the mornings are usually a little cool, no matter the time of year. And what I've also noticed when we've been there a lot is a lot of dew. It's a humid time of year, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I think probably because of the lake.
Yeah.
But that's always nice just to kind of have, and those again pack pretty small.
I was just gonna say we're hitting this the first week of June.
Even it'll be cool.
It'll still be cool.
Still. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I mean, it's just another good thing. I mean, it's just to have that is really good. So yeah. So Nelson Rig rain suit, any sort of neck gaiter is always good. If you like the podcast today, please like and subscribe. Sign up for the BMR Rider Alerts. It's our way of keeping you in the loop. And as always, no spam.
Keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember, bikes, friends, and endless roads. The stories ride forever. Take care.